Well, good morning, welcome. I'm Sam, this is Megan, this is Toby, and we're from TAIT. And TAIT is the world's largest entertainment technology provider. You won't have heard of us necessarily, but you've heard of all of our clients. And everybody's heard of lighting and sound and video, but the hidden element that makes shows have that extra wow factor is automation, and that's what we do. So I'm going to hand straight over to our folks here. Toby's going to tell you a little bit about what automation is, and Megan's going to tell you how she got into automation. So without any further ado, Toby, tell us, what is automation?
Hello, I'm Toby. I'm a controls integrator at TAIT, and we'll come into what that means a bit later on. But before we start, if you want to ask questions or get involved with the talk, you can either go to the Slido website, scan the QR code, or download the app. It'll come up later on if you've missed it this time, but I'll move so you can see the code. And I'll leave that for a few seconds. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what is automation and what the backstage technical departments are. So I'll give you a few seconds to get the Slido app working, but the first question is, what are the backstage technical departments? Give people a few minutes. Anyone? No? Okay. Well, these are some examples of the backstage department: sound, lighting, video. But the one that's forgotten about the most is, in fact, automation. And where do we find automation? So, do we find it from the house, on stage, below the stage, above the stage? Anyone? It seems no one's... Oh, here we go. Correct. All of the above. So automation is actually a department that is integrated with everyone in the entertainment industry. We're linked in with sound, we're linked in with lighting. What would the responsibility of the automation department be? Well, nearly everything on there. We've got video wall tracking, aerial facilities, so flying people around in the air, scenery flying, so yeah, people have got the right idea. Spatial audio, so working with the sound department to track where a piece of set or maybe a float in a parade is. Yeah, everyone's got the right idea. So basically, automation is using machinery to control and move people. So we'll look at a few examples. This is a video, I'll just let it run in the background, of some examples TAIT have done in automation. So they were some examples of automation that TAIT has done in the past. Let's look at some details. This is the Take That Sphere that toured a couple of years ago. Oh no, it's not. Now it is. It's a large sphere that has an opening and closing mouth. It has lifts inside it, video wall behind. The whole thing revolves. There were lifts that came up in front of it with conveyor belts on, so the performers could walk while singing, and we call that stage machinery. The next example is Eric Church's tour, and an automated camera that flew around and allowed video to project on the IMAG screens, and that's an example of automated camera flying and bringing the actor and performer closer to the audience, more immersive. And we use 4 winches mounted in the corners of the arena to move that camera in 3D space. That's automated camera flying. Automation also comes in many different shapes and sizes, including installations in art galleries, foyers of big like companies. So this is a kinetic art sculpture in Las Vegas at the Omni nightclub. It's 4 or 5 rings that move up and down with a chandelier in the middle, big light show in the evening during the at the nightclub. And so that's an example of kinetic art. Then we also do special events. So this was the KSI Battle of the Baddest boxing match. That was a boxing ring in the middle of the stage that rose up out of the stage. But we've got to think about dynamic load there, so we integrated and did a lot of engineering around how we're going to make a lift that can handle the bouncing of the boxing. That's an example of special events. Then we obviously do a lot of automation in theater. This is the Hale Center in Utah. It's a very diverse and automated theater. It has stage lifts, a very complex flying system, revolves with multiple lifts within them, and they're all controlled by Navigator, which is TAIT's control software. Integrates all of the lifts and flying and anything that's automated together. We can then use Navigator to talk to the lighting and sound and video departments. So it's one fully automated controlled system. That's an example of theater. Then we've got concert touring. This is Ed Sheeran's recent tour. It's a big revolving stage. In this example, he's got a couple of Type A lifts, which we'll come on to later, in the center of the stage, then a large revolve, a donut revolve, so the center doesn't move, but the outside does. And we also spoke to the sound department through Navigator to tell where Ed was in space so that the sound system could change immersively to where Ed was on the stage on the revolve, moving round and round. Then we do venue facilities, so like permanent installations. This is a theatre in the Netherlands, a converted church. So fly bars, which are commonly found in theatres, every single one of those is automated. Another example is probably the largest theatre example is the Royal Opera House in London. They have an automated moving stage as well as overhead flying bars. You can see examples of the automated machinery there. This is another theatre and permanent installation in Hong Kong. This is a multi-use venue. So the stage itself, with the click of a button using Navigator, can actually change texture from a normal hard floor to a sprung floor for dancing. Another example of automated technology. They've also got automated overhead fly bars, and the entire stage is a truck that moves upstage, downstage, and revolves as well. So that's examples of automated flying systems. We've also done things like Rihanna at the Super Bowl, so 7 automated flying platforms that use winches from either side of the stadium, but also integrated in with that was a flying cam. So using Navigator, we need to work out where those lines are coming from so we can fly the camera around the arena to avoid clashing any lines and anti-collision avoidance. So yeah, we control things that fly. But it's not just sets, it's performers too. This is an example of Le Rive in France, a water show that has flying performers as well as hydraulic lifts that move podiums, water features which are controlled through Navigator and automated pumps and things like that. Here's a photo of the flying. Now, my background before I started at TAIT was at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, and I studied production technology and used TAIT equipment there. This is an example of a show I did, my final year show. So we had automated sliders. There's a little video I'll play in the background. You can see me there, there. The sliders moving across stage as well as manual flying above. That's using our Epic console, running Navigator in the background. So you can see how you can create different shapes on stage using sliders and big toe winches. So that was just a quick scene change and an example of something I've done in the past. So yeah, we've covered what is automation and where is automation. So yeah, stadiums, temporary spaces, public spaces, purpose-built venues, cruise ships as well. Anything on a cruise ship is mostly automated nowadays. Themed entertainment like theme parks, mixed-use spaces, and hospitality and dining. So we've covered them too, but who is automation? So not just the operator at the end of the line, you've got the electrical engineers in the background, engineering how those systems are going to work on a control side of things. Software engineers, how they're going to talk to each other through Navigator, through Vector, those type softwares. Controls engineers, electrical fabricators that then wire all these systems together. Then the installers that put them in place. Mechanical engineers who work out how these machines are going to work, and structural engineers that work alongside them to make sure everything's safe. We've got 3D designers that allow us to take the client's idea and put it into reality for manufacturing. Then you've got mechanical fabricators, on-site integrators such as myself and Meg, project managers that link it all together, and then at the end of that you've got the operators that actually operate the show. So that was automation in a bombshell. But any questions for myself or anyone on stage automation-wise? We'll put this up again if anyone's got any questions. You can also raise your hand. It doesn't have to be via Slido. Anyone?
I've got a question for you, Toby.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a typical day, or is every day different?
Every day is different. So this morning I came in and we were working on a project that we've got in at the moment, and it had just been signed off, so it was all systems go for starting on that project. And so I'm working with Type A lifts, which we've still yet to come to, and working with everyone in the team, mechanical integrators, project managers who have just signed it off and tell us what we need to do that morning. So yeah, different every day.
And so when you went to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, did you go there with a view in your mind that you would one day be an automation integrator, or
No.
did you want to do something else? Had you ever heard of automation?
No, I hadn't. So I started at the Conservatoire in the sound department, discovered that there is a technical stage side which was involved in flying and automation, so I switched to that department, and it used TAIT equipment, found TAIT at a trade show like this, asked lots of questions. I did a placement with them for 6 weeks, and then I applied for the job, and that's how I got here.
Cool, excellent.
We've got some questions
I'm glad
here.
you discovered it. Yeah, some questions for the audience. So where do you see the future of automation going?
Well, it's becoming more and more complex these days. There'll be new technology, there'll be new ways of doing illusions, there'll be new lifts, there'll be new ways of flying people. I suppose it's down to the creatives to come up with the ideas of how they want something to appear, and then down to us to make that happen. So
That's a good question, and thank you for these questions. The Slido's still open if you want to post more. Toby, what is the most challenging part of your role?
Probably not knowing what I'm doing tomorrow, and then changing my headspace from what I was doing yesterday to, oh, we're using a completely different system, completely different machinery, and switching between projects because there's a lot happening at the same time. I think we've got a few more slides. This was a project that me and Meg worked on.
Let's introduce Meg. Meg, who are you, and what is it that you do?
So I'm Meg, I'm a mechanical integrator here at TAIT.
And what on earth is a mechanical integrator? What does that mean?
So Get so nervous. So a mechanical integrator, we basically build all the staging and put it all together, as well as doing service, inspection and maintenance of the automation and stuff like that. So the winches, the flybars, everything like that.
And 5 years ago, 10 years ago, had you ever heard of automation?
No, I had no idea about any of this. I didn't even know this industry existed until I was working in a pub one day, kind of having a bit of a gap year. And Colin, the dog, I don't know, you guys might know Colin, he came into the pub and somebody was like, oh, that dog stole a sausage from Little Mix once. I was like, what do you mean? Why were Little Mix here? And then that's how I came to find out that like this whole place existed, all because of Colin the dog. So
cool. And so a dog and a sausage got you into automation. That's fantastic. Tell me about a place where you've been doing automation recently, and a customer that I believe you've both been involved with.
Yeah, so we've just been on the Princess Cruises. I've been to Singapore and Italy so far with those.
So in your role, do you get to travel all over the world?
Yeah, anywhere and everywhere. So love it.
Yep.
And what is it on a ship that needs your attention?
So each ship has probably one or two different venues on them, mainly like a big theatre and then like a smaller lounge, which has like the full stage and all the automation on there. So.
Very good, and it's worth mentioning at this point that you can come and do a tour of our facilities. There are tours at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock and at 2 o'clock. And if you go to the other side of the very brightly lit up Robay truck, then you can sign up to those tours. And you'll be able to see examples of all kinds of machinery that we've got. You've got that picture of the Type A?
Yeah.
I think it's back a couple.
No.
Back one more. No,
No.
not there. Okay, we've got various different machines that you can see there. So do come on those tours, sign up the other side of the Robobus, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and you'll see really interesting things. You'll see some work in progress. Excellent. So do we have any audience questions for Megan, please? Can you pop the Slido link back up? And
There we go.
question here, do you ever see AI as being integrated into automation? If so, how do you envision this working? Shall I take that question?
Yeah.
I think out of all of the R's, AR, VR, XR, it's augmented reality that's going to be the most exciting thing to come. I think if we think of that as a very practical example of AI, AI is being used as a bit of a marketing buzzword in everything, and unfortunately that means it's losing its meaning a bit. But certainly the idea of big data, of digital twins, of simulations and of previews are all things that we're doing already extensively. And so we're at a very, very exciting time in our industry in that a lot of new technologies are just emerging. AI is certainly one of them, but combine AI with AR, VR, XR, MR, all of the realities, they will be seeping into all kinds of live experiences. And remember, as Toby said, we're not just talking about concerts, although both Toby and Megan are working on very significant concerts at the moment, but we're talking about anywhere where a live experience happens. So theme parks, cruise ships, and then fixed installations in theatres, opera houses, and other venues like that. Cool.
There was a question that just flashed up about creatives and what you wish they knew to make our life easier. I think it's the other way around. I wish creatives knew more what was possible, because then we can do cooler things. I knew when I was at university a lot of the designs and what they were coming up with were, we had more potential. Automation could do so much more, but they didn't understand that we could do that. So yeah, I think not to make our lives easier, to allow us to do more.
Very good. So I've got another question for Megan. Megan, thinking back 10 years before you knew this world existed, what has surprised you most about working in this field?
Absolutely everything. Everything was a surprise. I guess because, I don't know, this isn't my background at all. It was all completely new to me when I joined. So everything, like from the automation to just seeing what the potential is that can actually happen.
And the most important question, do you have fun in what you do now?
Oh yeah. Every day is different and every day is so good. There's some stressful times, but I love it and I wouldn't change it for the world. So.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Well, we're almost at time. As I mentioned, we've got tours at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock. You need to sign up with the Backstage Academy on the other side of the Robay bus. And then come and have a look around our facilities, see some of our colleagues actually doing some work. Sorry, that came out wrong. See what it is that we do, is what I meant to say. And the examples of things that Toby and Megan have shared with us. Thank you all very much, and do discover the world of automation. It goes beyond lighting, sound and video. We're the wow factor. If somebody's got something impossible that they need to happen, then they give the automation department a call. Our stand is just near the door on this side of the bus, and so there are some wonderful, friendly, helpful people there all day to talk about the career options that exist in automation, to talk about how you could be like Megan or like Toby, doing this kind of very exciting, very varied and very fun work. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.